Now, the VidIQ plugin, as you can tell at the top, will actually give you a real-time metric value of basically what views you've got coming to your videos as you've got them out. It'll tell you the total number of minutes watched, and it'll tell you your shorts views and a lot of other metrics. One of the things that I love about the VidIQ extension, though, is it'll also tell you how many views per hour each video you come across is getting. Which, like for example, if we look at Rahul Arena, here at Lord's Mobile KST, I can also see how well his search engine optimization is doing. Now, from here, right from the get-go, we can look and see these stats, and we are able to really quickly figure out what videos is he actually able to produce that are ranking for different search engine tags, what channel views he's getting, the total number of subscribers he has. The analytics side of vidIQ is a massive, massive, massive benefit, and one of the reasons why I highly recommend it is in part because of these metrics that you do not get with a lot of other tools. Now, one of the things that is kind of nice is that if, let's suppose, we want to know more about this channel, we can even then go one step further and look at their channel stats. We can look and see what tags they have for their channel, what channel country they are, what category they have tied in. We could even go to their view trending videos and see if they have any trending videos. And one of the things that you should really take away from this, if anything, is you can also figure out what type of strategies they're employing. Like, are they using playlists? In this guy's case, he's not. But it is a highly underutilized thing when you're getting into YouTube in particular, because playlists are a way to effectively get people to watch your content over and over and over, because you categorize them in a way that is quite literally intentional. And we'll get into that more here as we go along. Now, regarding video editors in particular, there are two very well-known video editors out there on the market a lot of people use. Okay, you have DaVinci Resolve 18, or the beta version of DaVinci Resolve 18, which I highly recommend because it has AI features and things that, frankly, whether it comes to subtitles to other advanced features, you can get with the studio version, which is $300, but it is totally worth it if you want to automate and do all the fancy things that you can do in DaVinci Resolve. But again, you don't necessarily need to have it, but, again, just throwing it out there. You can always go down that rabbit hole if you like, but DaVinci Resolve is highly used by a lot of people, and you can find all sorts of tutorials and videos on this that not even this whole video can cover in a single sitting. Okay, but alternatively, a lot of other people use Adobe Premiere Pro, and there are kind of downsides and benefits depending on what you are looking for. If you want like AI feature tools and stuff like that, you're going to find a lot of that also in Premiere Pro. And so Adobe Firefly is one of the most recent tools out there that they have now that allows you to basically manipulate imagery and back and forth. So whether you're going down the Adobe path or the DaVinci path, it is really just a question of money in most cases. One of the best tools you want to absolutely get is NVIDIA Broadcast. Now, NVIDIA Broadcast is really useful in part because of noise removal, okay? As you can tell, I've actually got a fan. I have a whole background going on behind me. This is all thanks to NVIDIA Broadcast. It basically can clear out your background on a camera. It can also take out the voice, sound, and basically all of that for you. Now, of course, if you don't have NVIDIA Broadcast, you can alternatively use Audacity and do your recordings afterwards. And then basically what you would do, and I'll give you an example just by showing you, right? Because again, I've been there, done that. I have done it on a low budget. I've done it on a high budget, man. You can do it just about any damn well way you please. Again, if you want to actually adjust any of that, you just go into Preferences. And then from here, you go in, pick your audio settings, pick your playback device and the device in which it's recording from. And so in this case, let's say it's my microphone, or maybe I want NVIDIA Broadcast, or vice versa. All right, so as you can see, here's my video. This is me talking, blah, 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 whatever it may be, right? And then what you do is you grab the section in which you're not talking, which is your static noise. And all you're going to do is basically go into Effect, go to Noise Removal and Repair, go to Noise Reduction, get Noise Profile, then you just basically Control A and paste. All you're doing is basically replacing all of that. And as you can tell, it just clears out the noise. Now, if you're going to do voiceovers within DaVinci Resolve, this is one thing that drove me absolutely freaking bonkers, which is that basically if you're wanting to add your audio device, it can either be your default, or if you have a specific device that you're wanting to use, what you do is you actually go into DaVinci Resolve, go into Preferences. Now, mind you, this is system specific. You got to go to Video and Audio I/O, and then in here it has Use System Settings for the input device. And you can then dictate which audio device you want to be talking through for your voiceovers within your clips and stuff. And so what you would do then is basically go into here, you would dictate whatever frame you want to use, and you can then set, basically by clicking on here up under the right side, and then you can then dictate whichever input you want to use. And then from there, you basically go ahead and arm it for record, and then record and go on your merry way. So, for example, I can go ahead and do it this way, go ahead and hit patch, and that's just going to patch. Basically you can patch almost anything to whichever, audio frame you like. So you can pick both of them and hit patch. That'll patch both of your audio frames directly to that. And then basically once you've done that, you've got your frame audio 1, A1, you basically get the gist. Hit arm for record, and then go ahead and hit record, and you can start talking in the middle of your video as you're watching it on the top right side, and basically do your record and on the fly. And then once you're done, you basically hit stop and you're good to go. And you can go in there and do any of those adjustments like I was showing you earlier within Audacity. You could do also within DaVinci Resolve. So again, depending on whatever workflow you prefer best, preferably if you're going to go into it, you can go into here, click on Effects, and then in here, all you need to do is basically throw in noise reduction, go in and do your noise reduction, and you can go in here and do de-rumble, de-hiss. You can mass modify the hell out of those settings as much as you so please. Now, editing within DaVinci is kind of a fun thing. I prefer to, whenever I set up, I will create a new project, and once I've set up my project, all I basically do is you want to get your media pool turned on, and you want to basically just right from the get-go, go into your master here, go ahead and create some bins, and then create these bins and name them accordingly what you would like them to be used for. So one I'll have for music, one for images, sound for sound effects, titles and clips, and yeah, that's basically how I organize shit to keep my life sane. But from there, what you can do is you can even create like titles and clips and stuff like that. So like, for example, you can right click in here, and let's say you want to go in and make some, customized pop-ins and stuff like that. I'll give you an example of a pop-in that I've made in the past. So like, for example, here's one of my best pop-in texts that I've created. And again, you can always adjust these and modify them however you want. But basically, it pops just like that. It's a little quick pop. It doesn't do a whole lot of anything, but it's a really simple little trick. Now, how did I actually go about doing that, right? Okay, so the way you go about making pop-ins is really not all that complicated. All you need to do is basically grab some text, drag and drop it on here, okay? And you'll notice in the animation field, which you get into here, basically what you do, all right, if I was to sit on here and say, hello, Bob, for example, and let's say I wanted to go in here and add a little bit of a pop-in. You can control just by, where you are in the frame. And again, you can kind of do keyframes on the fly, but let's say you start from the beginning. You point your keyframes, which is what these little red buttons are. They're keyframes, okay? And then once you do that, you can then basically, just by looking at this, right, what do you think I did? So if you actually pay any attention to this, you'll notice zoom X goes up to 1.5. It's at 0.85 to 1, and then back to 1. So all my pop-in is when you start out at the very, very beginning of my video, I actually have my zoom set at 0.85. And then I go 1, 2, 3, and you can use the arrow keys to go up a frame every time. So left, right, move a frame a couple of frames. I usually go about 3 frames in, and then I'll go ahead and click on a keyframe, and I'll do 0.1, 0.05, and then maybe, 2 frames after that, I'll go back to 1. Okay? Very simple pop-in effect because pop. It looks pretty damn natural. Pop. And that's basically all a pop-in is, moving along. Of course, you don't necessarily have to, but it is kind of, you'll notice a big jump in your viewer what we describe as a statistic known as average view duration, which in the world of YouTube, users want to be on your content for longer in YouTube's algorithm. And the longer they're there, the happier they are there, the better the algorithm will reward you, and therefore you will get more views. So, in short, basically, I have more information for you because, again, why do I stop here? I have more, and you should definitely check this video out and watch this video because it's going to go into a couple of more topics. And this is honestly, this is just a gold mine of information. So, I hope that you're learning something along the way. And again, if you really are liking this content, consider being a channel member because anybody that joins as a channel member, if you have individual questions and you are lost in the comments, and you want to have your questions heard, I will answer questions that channel members have, or you could alternatively join the Discord in the description below, and I will answer questions individually from people in the Discord as well. So you're welcome to join the Discord, and you can even become a Discord member as well if that's more your thing. And all the same, I will be more than happy to answer anybody's questions regarding both their traps, but even how to edit videos and a lot of other fun stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So make sure to check this video out. Don't miss.